So Blaire White was on Twitter today or yesterday, and she was actually exposing Dave Rubin and wanted to contact Anna Kasparian. And before we get into reading those tweets, I do want to give you guys background on this because this is very important, of course, for the backstory of this whole situation. So this was a video that I did a video on. Mike Figueredo from the Humanist Report also did a video on this. This was posted by Blaire White on September 12th, 2018. Now, Blaire White is a conservative who is a transgender. And so, I'm not a fan of her work. I'm not really a fan of her at all. But she did make something interesting, and this was, again, September 12th, 2018, that she uploaded this. The title is called Why I've Changed the Truth. And she went in and talked about how there were a lot of people on the right wing who are in her sphere who she said were like people looked at as her peers. So we all know the people that she's talking about, other big YouTubers as well. And that's kind of the people she's speaking about. And she was basically saying like, yo guys, these people are not what you think they are. They don't actually believe what you think they believe. And basically just calling them frauds. So I do want to show you guys this couple minutes because it's very important backstory for this story.
So turned off from doing political commentary is the other people that people see as my peers, people that I've worked with, other commentators. Kind of want to be careful with what I even say here, but I moved to LA almost a year ago, and one thing about LA is there's a lot of work here. So a lot of other political commentators, other people who you guys know, I'm not talking about obscure people here, a lot of them either live in LA or they're constantly in and out for work, filming something, doing whatever they do. So I've met almost all of them. People I've either been on their show or on a show with them, or I went to a dinner with them, an event with them, or I became close with some of them. The amount of them that I've met that have told me either directly or in a roundabout way that's very clear that they don't believe everything that they say that they believe when they're on camera. A lot of them just flat out don't believe. They're just actors. They're just actors. I don't know how else to put it. I had one person who I went on their show and I was in the green room, which is like the makeup room before you go on camera. The host of the show comes in and it's like, hey Blaire, small talk. Hey Blaire, wanted you on for a while. So glad you're here. Nice to meet you. Let's take a picture, blah, blah, blah. They pull me aside and say, I just want you to know, Blaire, I don't feel any negative way towards you or trans people. I know we talk negatively of trans people a lot on the show, but that's just because it's kind of what the fans want. But it's just kind of where we're at right now. And I was taken aback because I felt like that's really fraudulent that you would feel the need to go on air. And
so after she said this, I and everyone else was speculating. I forget who. I think Mike Figueredo from the Humanist Report, I think he had speculated that it was Dave Rubin. I think we were all thinking that. The two people who I think three people who we had brought it down to it was either Dave Rubin, Steven Crowder, although unlikely, or Milo Yiannopoulos, because we know that Milo and her, I think, were close for a little bit, and we know like he's a fraud and a clown and whatever, and he just kind of says whatever to troll people, so that was maybe a minor possibility. But I kind of thought it was Dave Rubin. I also thought it could be Steven Clam Chowder because I was thinking about, I was like, Dave Rubin doesn't really, like on his show, there isn't that much trans bashing. Where on Steven Crowder's show, there's a ton of it. Like he's a total douche about it. So, it turns out to be Dave Rubin.
And say something negative about trans people or transgenderism or whatever, but it's not really how you feel. He also said he has like a trans cousin or something like that, and that he feels bad that they're the butt of every joke on his show or whatever. And I was like, but almost every person I met after him was almost always consistently like that. Because you start learning things like, almost all of them hire people to tweet and Facebook post and Instagram on their behalf, tweeting out opinions on their behalf, which I feel like is unethical because if people are following you because they believe you're some intellectual and they trust your opinion and they're going to shape their opinions a lot of times on an issue based on your opinion, and it's not even actually your opinion, it's something that you paid someone to assume is your opinion, and you're so much of a rigid, like, binary thinker that it's easy just to pay someone, like, yeah, tweet out the standard response, and this is what it is. It's like, I don't respect that. And I don't really know what it is about me in particular that makes people feel comfortable enough to sort of reveal.
Okay, so I don't want to get into too much of that video, but that was very important backstory for you guys because this was back in September of 2018. We were like, yo, this is pretty crazy. And someone said, I think in one of my live streams, they were like, yo, Blaire White was on her Instagram story calling out Dave Rubin. And apparently that video got deleted, so I never actually got to see whether that was true or anything like that. But she was over on Twitter, and here is what went down. There were quite a few things. So she sent out this tweet saying, at Anna Kasparian, hey Anna, would you mind DMing me? It's about something. Someone that may interest you would love to fill you in on something. This is very interesting. So, who's the person that Blaire White is referencing? Obviously, it's Dave Rubin, right? Dave Rubin, Anna, we know the history, we know the present of this, and it's clear that Blaire White has some info on Dave Rubin that we desperately need to know. And, it's basically what Blaire's already talked about, but I want to know the more specific details. I know that I think she goes on to claim in that video that we were just watching. You should go watch that whole video, by the way. The second half of that video. First half is about a bunch of other stuff. But I think she says that one of them told her, like, yo, if you get fake protesters, it'll increase the amount of attention that you get, and therefore, like, boost your revenue and your brand and everything. But I think that might have been Milo, though. I don't know if that was Milo or if that was Rube. I don't know. It could have been either one of them. But please, Anna, please DM her. I'm really hoping I'm hoping they have a conversation, because we need to know. We absolutely need to know the information that Blaire White holds. Now, that's not it. We got a bunch of other stuff, too. So, some person tweeted, wait, Miss Blaire White really ended things with Dave Rubin. Girl, we need a tea spill. And then Blaire White responded to that tweet saying, I haven't been friends with that guy for over a year now, LOL. I'm just not a messy bitch trying to expose people. Maybe someday, though. So, I'm not sure. I think that is what she's trying to do, which, please do it. I mean, it doesn't make you a bad person for exposing someone for being unethical. Obviously, exposing unethical behavior is ethical behavior. So, it's certainly not wrong. It doesn't make you, a bad person or anything like that. It totally makes you legit. And you're honestly kind of like a truth teller at that point, because you're giving us hard, cold facts and evidence, which we've already got, like, evidence, but with your, like, first-hand evidence of Dave Rubin's fraudulence, it's a wrap at that point. We already know the money he gets from the Ayn Rand Institute, which is part of what the Charles G. Koch Institute. We know the money he gets from Learn Liberty. We know all about all that kind of stuff. But dude, if this comes out, it's a wrap, son. It is a wrap, son. So, someday, hopefully it's today. Now, I actually don't know what the timestamp comparison of these are. This is 6:39 p.m. Pacific time. And this was 6:03, so maybe she changed her mind. I don't know. I hope she changed her mind, because please expose Dave Rubin. It is not unethical to expose unethical behavior. Not even in the slightest. In fact, that is what is ethical. It's not a white power sign, by the way. It's a three-pointer sign. But that's not all. Here we got more. So this is interesting, because this is someone saying, credit to Blaire White for recognizing Intel Dank tweet on why Rubin is an apologist for bigotry against Muslims, not just a critic of Islam. So there's apparently some 14-year-old who's like in a BuzzFeed article or something, and he came out and defended her, and apparently she said some really insane things about gay people, Muslims, all kinds of stuff. And so looks like she liked that tweet. And, here's what she sent in responding to this kind of big thread. And we are assuming that favorite means that she's in agreement that Dave Rubin's basically a joke. So she says, when y'all want to start a legal fund for me for when these people sue me, let me know and I'll spill all the tea, LOL. So, dude, if she needs a legal fund, we're going to have to come together for a legal fund, dude. Because this, as long as it just specifically were to go to... Now, I don't even think they're going to sue her, so please just spill it. But if they do sue you, I'm sure... I don't know, you guys let me know if you'd be down to contribute. I certainly would be. And I think that it would be worth it. Even though she's a conservative and not, I'm not a fan of her content or anything. this is worth it. And if it specifically goes towards the legal fund and nothing else, I have no problem contributing to that. I would be definitely big on contributing to that. Let me know if you guys would. And I think this is kind of a joke, although I'm not really sure at this point. But again, I'm very hopeful that Anna Kasparian and Blaire White have a DM conversation, direct message conversation on Twitter. I tried to let her know that this is happening, so hopefully she will talk to Blaire, and hopefully we'll get some juicy information, because Dave Rubin needs to be exposed. I'm very impressed with and Anna Kasparian's alluded to this and explained this quite a few times on the Michael Brooks show. She was like, I almost respect the ferociousness and the sociopathy of Dave Rubin, where it's like, you just have like no conscience, no dignity, no ethics, none of that stuff. Like, you're just so vicious and just so ferocious that, like, just put yourself in the position. Now, you may be different, but like, if I were to do that, right? If I were to flip specifically to get like 30K a month on Patreon, amongst other things, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I wouldn't be able to live with myself, because the truth is, I don't believe in the right-wing garbage nonsense. So I would never, for a second, be able to fake in order for money. Because you guys know that, because I could do that right now. I could turn to the the conservative voice or something like that and just switch over, and I'm sure get a lot more traction. But of course I'm not going to do that, because I don't believe in that crap, and I literally would not be able to live with myself if I were to do something like that. But let me know your thoughts on this down below. I'm very curious to know them. Hopefully we do get more information on this whole situation, and I, as the political TMZ, very excited.